all of you, this incredible organization. It's been truly an honor to be a part of it for so many years. And we have moved the ball forward because of the collaboration and the coming together of great minds behind education policies from all different states. Even if your state hasn't been able to accomplish what Florida has, the fact that we're working together to drive every single state as far as they possibly can to give education freedom to as many families as possible, it is exponential across this country. And we are at a pivotal moment right now. I know you've all heard about the Education Freedom Tax Credit. I was talking to you about it in Texas as well at the last meeting. I'm not going to stop talking about it. And that has given us a platform from which to create an education freedom economy across this country that will allow not just for families to be able to access education options within their communities, but it will drive innovation into the education sector, something that we have never really seen when it comes to parent-directed funding. Some of you know my story. I got into this by happenstance. I spent 20 years in the investment management industry, but before I'm Byron's wife and before I'm a former school board member and an executive, I am a mom of 3 boys. And what I found out, like probably many of you, when I made a school choice decision by buying a house in the area I wanted my kids to go to school, that an A school, even the best performing school that money can buy when you buy a home in that community, it doesn't mean it's an A school for every child. And it wasn't an A school for all 3 of my children. And when I had to pull my son out, I discovered the concept of school choice because I didn't have it. And I finally found a school, and at the time we had to put it on our credit card, but I said I would rather go in debt than have my son hate learning every day. It turned his life around completely. He went from crying and not wanting to go to school every day to jumping in the car, excited to tell me about everything he had learned. He's never been on medication like the public school wanted me to do. He's never been in a special classroom, but he graduated with honors. He got multiple scholarship offers, and now he's in the middle of a great college career playing basketball and living his dream. But let me tell you, there are hundreds of thousands of Darrens out there in every one of your states that hate going to school. They hate learning. Therefore, they are not learning. They are not going to be able to achieve the American dream unless we give them and their families and their parents access to the education option that works for them. And where we are in America right now, what we know about education and how transformative school choice is for these families, there's no excuse. There's no excuse for every one of these red-controlled states, and even those with close ties. We should be providing that option universally, formula funded to every single child. Let me tell you why it's so important that not just Florida or Arizona or a large program in Texas do this. What our foundation has just launched, called the Education Freedom Accelerator, it will do 2 things. Starting with the federal tax credit, which is, surprisingly, one of the more flexible programs in the country in terms of what expenses are allowed under that program. When those rules are out, we're going to take that framework of educational expenses that should be allowed for an ESA platform, and we're going to go to every one of your states that has school choice programs and say, we would like you to align your allowable expenses with the federal program, probably meaning expanding it a bit. We're going to define what those expenses are. We're going to defend why those expenses should be allowed with research. So we're going to help you, and in partnership with ALEC as well, to give you the information you need to combat the people who say you shouldn't be able to spend money on that as a parent. One of the things I've always wanted to do is take all the school district expenses, put it in a large database and say, this is what parents can spend money on. I think that would be quite flexible for our families. So it's not just enough then for a family to have a federal tax credit scholarship, or to have an ESA, or to have a 529, which rules will also be coming out for them to have ESA-style expenses. If I want to spend those funds, I don't want to have to go to 3 different places to see what tuition it can pay, what expenses can I use it on, go to the 529, get a cashier's check, take it over here. I need innovators to be able to take all those funds, put it in one dashboard. As a parent, I see all of those funds stacked together, and I know that's the total amount I have to spend on all of these allowable expenses. And in order to do that and to invite those innovators in to create that technology, we need a wide market of those stackable expenses, not just in Florida. It's not going to work if it's just us. We need all of you. But we're not going to stop there, because I am an education service provider here in Florida. And in order to get our world's first virtual reality school, which is now serving 1,800 students this fall, Optima Academy Online, to get approved in Florida, we had to fill out a 400-page charter application, a 900-page state application. We had to go through a 2-year accreditation process with an international accreditor, and we operated for 4 years with outstanding results. So what happened when we go to Texas's brand new program that opened with $1 billion for families? They said, oh, you've done all this, come on in. No, it was as if we had done none of that. We had to start completely from scratch. So what we need across all of your states is provider reciprocity. If you get approved in one state, you are approved in all of the school choice states, in all of the programs. So that on the provider side, on the innovator side, I know that if I have a great idea that's going to help kids, I have a choice of all these states to choose from, to start in, to expand to, and to allow more families to access my program. This bringing together of the allowable expenses, of the provider requirements, of the multiple programs, up and down, federal, state, local, all of those available dollars stacked together, all of the expenses aligned, all of the provider requirements agreed upon across states. That is how we will build the education freedom economy that invites innovation, it invites investment, it invites philanthropy, and the result will be more access, better results, academic excellence, and frankly, what we're all here for, the achievement of the American dream for every single one of our students in every single one of our states. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your great work. Thank you for supporting education freedom.